all the way as to our elderly, because everybody's important from birth to death.
Amen.
And we want to we want to thank you for attending our 3rd annual District Court of Honor. And for those who don't know what the Court of Honor is, the Court of Honor is when the Scouts are awarded their achievements for their last annual accomplishments. This year the list was so long, but what they did, I just wrote it on envelopes. Because we've been up here too long.
That's organization.
For everybody to get something pinned on them like we normally do. So this is all about them. Everything we talk about and we mention on our program from Kendall Granger to the parent is about them. So we always start, Devin, Sultan, and Jordan, would you please come up front. We know we have a flag ceremony to open our flags. We haven't completely unpacked from camp yet. So our flags are all that go up front. So we always open our meetings with a scout opening, which includes the scout oath, the scout law, the scout motto, and the scout slogan. And if you'll please, now if we want to do the reunion, we can. If not, we can just keep it moving. All right, would you please rise? Since we got a preacher in here, we get our invocation in too. So we say signs up, we hold up our right hand, we hold up 3 fingers. If you were a little kid and a Cub Scout, we would hold up 2 fingers. We hold up 3 fingers, and then please repeat after either one of y'all. Go, Deb. The oath. Nice and loud.
On my honor.
On my honor.
I will do my best.
I will do my best.
Do my duty.
Do my duty.
To guide my country.
To guide my country.
Obey the scout law.
Obey the scout law.
Help all others at all times.
To help all others at all times.
Keep myself physically strong.
Physically weak.
Morally straight.
Morally straight.
Scout is
Scout.
trustworthy.
Trustworthy.
Loyal.
Loyal.
Helpful.
Helpful. Friendly. Courteous. Kind. Obedient. Cheerful. Thrifty. Brave. Reverent.
Scout motto.
Be prepared.
Then we say for what?
Life.
We
Life.
say for life. Then we have a slogan we call the Scout slogan. What is the Scout slogan?
Do a good turn daily.
Do a good turn daily. And then we say 2, which means down. It's not military regimented, but the founder of Scouts was Robert Baden Powell. He wore a hat like Mr. Chuck back there. Like, you know, Smokey the Bear kind of thing. So Mr. Chuck, if you would come up please and give us an invocation. We was waiting on one of the Scouts to do it. And we appreciate everyone that came, and we're going to keep it moving. This is Chuck Byers. Chuck is a Scoutmaster, a 3rd generation Scout. He has 3 sons in Scouts. He works with us and in school. He's one of our assistant district commissioners with Mr. Brian Mathis over there, who's our district commissioner, Mr. Lightfoot, who's our commissioner, and Mrs. Young, who's the commissioner, and soon Grandma Rogers will be too. And Miss Carlotta, she's the face, she's the brains behind everything. All right, Mr. Chuck.
Just please prepare yourself in your manner of custom. Scout is reverent. Lord, thank you for a chance to be together. Thank you for a chance to celebrate all of these Scouts have accomplished. Pray that you continue to guide them along their path, and that you'll make that journey not only an adventure, but an opportunity to grow in ways that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. Please just look after us for the rest of this evening, and let us go in safety. And just thank you again for the chance to celebrate. In Jesus' name, pray.
And so our next thing was we was going to do a district update. You can have a seat, thank you. While we're going through this, and many of you probably have not heard of Arthur Sandlin, but this is him, former district executive. Oh, I'm sorry, Roosevelt Fair Kincaid, Scoutmaster. Sorry, 2 more. We got that one, didn't we? So Josh Ramsey, our first DE, when we started rebuilding this district, had this patch put together, and it's in honor of Mr. Sandlin, who they call Mr. Scoutmaster. And if anyone would like a copy of his document, we have one and we can make you a copy, but it's really in-depth. It starts in the 50s and it goes up, and he talks about how he was driving with someone, came to pick him up, they drove through the hood, the community, and he's seen a lot of kids, and the man who was At ease, relax, Sultan. He don't do that at camp, y'all. I'd have to find him. Trying to stand like that. Don't play. And so Mr. Sandler said the man that was showed him was saying we need to do something with these boys out here in the field and etc. He said he went home and all night he could not stop thinking about it. He said it kept bothering him and bothering him. And when he said that God made that his mission, Mr. Biggs, all of them, Mr. Bryan, all of them people were part of that scout mission back then. So in his memory, we felt and feel that we should rebuild this district with young men like this. And we wish they all were here, of course, but they're not. So we got to keep moving because the show
Must go on.
and that's what we have to do in scouting. And normally in scouting, when we say 6:30, we start at what, Sultan? 6:30. We say we're going to start at 7, what time we start, George? And we say we're going to have breakfast at 8, what time we have breakfast? When they say something in scouting on that, that's what they mean. If you don't show up, that's too bad. You just come in and catch up. So we're trying to move forward. We're getting qualified people. I don't want anyone to take it offensively. It's that what we're trying to do is get people who want to do this. Over the last 2 decades, our council has suffered thanks to Ms. Collada, Mr. Morgan, Mr. Bryan, and Mr. Chuck, because I didn't know nothing. Me and this kid right here, we grew up in scouting together. Because I didn't know nothing. I didn't know what a rank was. All I knew was that's something I wanted to do. And now we're still here as he get ready to exit this program. And it's been a journey for both of us. He had a longer journey because he went to Canada and stuff.
Oh, wow.
He wanted to swim all over the world and stuff. That's okay. It was a little bit past me and my boy, but I'm glad he did. So our next mission is to start what we call Eagle Quest. And an Eagle Quest unit is a group of young men like this who have been selected to finish this course of 22 badges now, because they have a new badge called Citizenship and Society, which came about after the George Floyd uprising, retaliation, call it what it is. So now those scouts have to do that. He's only 3 away, which he's working on all of them simultaneously. He's probably about 5 away, and he's probably like 7 away. So most of these scouts have came up out of nowhere because we didn't know. And I hold those accountable who didn't tell us. They didn't guide us. They made us find out on our own, which now we do, so now they can't break us. I tell Sultan, he like Buddy Lee, for y'all remember that commercial, Buddy Lee jeans, you can't bust them? That's Sultan, you can't bust him. You can drive him, he just won't break. He hop back up like the Super Bowl. I'm like, no, kid. So the biggest thing that we want to say about our update is that it's healthy. The young men are sporadic at times, but they outperform the average scout who's been doing this most of their life. Mr. Lightfoot or Commissioner Byers, if you all want to say something, if not, we're going to get this show on the road with all of this. And a scout for 8 of those 35 years. So what I've learned from him and them, I don't want to say I'm invincible because that would be a lie. But I refuse to quit on them. I let everybody know I ain't got no life no more. I done came from there to here with everybody in between. So now we got to give to them. So I challenge all black men, we'll make it specifically men, but general men, but specific black men. Black men got to get off the corner, get out the club for a week, and come out and help. That's all we need, so hold that. So we're going to move on. I'm going to use, we'll start with Mr. Trenez Rogers. Could you step up, Mr. Trenez?
Hey, woo!
So since we had so many, we just decided to do this. So this would be just, Trenez, this is his first year. This is Devin's brother.
Hey!
And how old are you, Trenez? He's 11 years old. He had his first camp ever. He's did a few things with us before, but this was his first camp ever. So Trenez finished his first class rank, which they have what they call a fast track to first class. But first you have scout, then you have tenderfoot, then you have second class, then you have first class. Each one of those ranks have requirements. So at summer camp now, their whole week as a first-time scouter, they don't get to do anything but earn those. Everybody don't complete it. There's a list of people in here that did complete it. So Trenez finished it, and not only did Trenez finish that, he completed his totem chip, which means he can carry all type of knives and axes and stuff, that's anything that deals with wood. And he also got his firing chip, which means he can safely carry lighters and start fires and do all of those things. Those are the other 2 awards. And then he also earned what we consider every year. This was the recipient last year. Every year when we go to camp, we pick the scout that shows the most enthusiasm, the most engagement and everything. So this year we would like to award our Super Scout Camper of the Year to Mr. Trinez Ross.
Woo! Yeah, yeah.
And Trinez, I gotta say, when we was getting ready to leave, we had to go find him. He like, he ain't gonna leave. He gonna stay all day. David said, boy, you know, mama, boy, you ready to He didn't want to leave, but that's beautiful that he took it. And he also said this, don't get mad. He said, what? He said, how old my brother? He said, I'm going to beat him by a couple of years.
Ooh.
He said, I'm going to be done with that and get it over, because you really can't be done in 2 years. Devin, by going to camp so many years, he just got all of this stuff anyway, because he was just going. Next we have Jordan, because they said you might have to leave. So let me go down. Mr. Jordan Bragg, an exceptional young man. Can I tell our story, Jordan? Yes. All right. So, where your grandma go? Oh, there she is. So, about 5-6 years ago, we were doing an overnight camp at JJK. Everybody know who Jackie Johnny Kersey is. And I like to be really direct. We had a bunch of heathens there, and they was acting heathenish. And I was about ready to pull out the little hair I got. And this little kid about this tall, he walked up to me, he pulled me on the leg, he said, Mr. Roosevelt, I'll help you.
Oh.
I said, what? I don't even know the kid. I don't know where he came from. And we stayed up all night. Then we joined at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get order. And when his grandma came to pick him up that morning, I said, could you buy him breakfast, dinner? I said, because it would just blow me away, because he was so little.
Oh.
And he just came up and yanked me and said, Mr. Roosevelt, I'll help you.
Oh.
And ever since then, me and this young man here have been roadies. So Jordan has been around for a while. He has so many other accomplishments than Mr. Big, because I'm in 114. The Eagle Quest unit is 001, and their traditional unit is 8919. So he's actually in 2 different units. So this year alone, Jordan finished 21 days out of about 29 days, something like that. Right?
Yeah.
Jordan got home on a Saturday and was camping on Sunday.
Come on now,
On
yeah.
more than one occasion. So Jordan has accomplished citizenship in the community, citizenship in the world, citizenship in the nation. He's completed STEM camp, and they have what they call National Youth Leadership Training, which is an extensive program to develop leadership that's held a week at a campsite. Jordan also completed National Youth Leadership Training. He also completed a week at STEM camp along with his summer camp. He's also completed a camping merit badge, cooking merit badge, first aid merit badge, swimming merit badge, wilderness survival merit badge, amongst some others. Those are just from the last year. So this young man has really been busy. Jordan, congratulations. He's really been busy. Next is a young man that everybody knows is a genius. This is his mom right there. I'm sorry, that's Devin and Trinez's mama right there. We're at home, y'all, so I can say mama right now. So this is their mother, that's his sisters, and that's his new member of the family. What's his name, David? Young David. And that's his mom right there. And then this is Sultan. This is his mom, Mrs. Young, and his sister, Virtuous. I don't know all Jordan people, I just see them all the time. And that's Jordan, granny, grandfather, and sisters and mom in the back. Okay? And everybody in the uniform, we actually foster parents. So when they leave them with us, we become the parents. And they some great young men. But this young man name is Sultan, middle name. Munir, I know your last name. His name is Sultan Munir Al-Ud. So this is probably one of the few kids, if I start talking, he know everything about me. He can talk better than I can. He ain't gonna do nothing, but he gonna say everything. He probably, me and his mom met at the library many years ago. I was working, she came over, and he's been with us ever since. He was too little to do anything with it, but he hung, and he hung, and he hung. he's one of the gifted Dr. King type of intellects. Okay, Sultan can build a rocket ship, but he might not know how to get on it. That's how smart this kid is. He's a born genius. He's just started his first year in scouting. He's been with Cub Scouting. He was the Super Scout last year. This year, it happens, you get a little lax. But he is already probably going to be, if Shanae stay around, will probably be the youngest Eagle Scout that we'll have in this district. Because the parent is always the foundation. And his mom never says no like your mom. They never say no, he need to go to the baby shower. And this is a day that we don't have no scouting. So I commend you, Miss Tasha, for always making sure that Devin was available and ready to get out there, as well as you two. Man, we ain't going swimming. Gotta have a little fun. So Sultan has completed his first class rank as of last year. And he has also completed the cooking merit badge, his camping merit badge, his first days merit badge, his citizenship in the community, his citizenship in the world, his citizenship in the nation. Also, he's finished his total chip and his firing chip. And he's also did many, many community service projects around the city, from gardening to cutting grass. We could probably did a little bit of everything at Sultan. You know, so you name it, we cleaned up a building, we did buffing, we did waxing. And these young men gonna be great husbands.
Amen.
That's what I can say about them. They're gonna be great husbands. So congratulations, Sultan.
Woo! Yeah.
The next young man who just walked up on the stage, I've been knowing him since about the second grade, because I also do an in-school program. Lord help me. But this young man has been around for years. He got a cold jump shot until he started falling in love. Once you fall in love, you don't think about nothing but love. But once he fell in love, he let the sports go. And here comes his brother. Come on up here, Scout. The zoologist. This young man wants to be a zoologist.
Nice.
You have any animals running around your house, around your yard, call him Cajun Dance. He's going to be the, you remember what's the movie with Jim Carrey in it?
Yeah, 8 to a pet detective.
Yeah, that's him. That's Pet Detective. Where you go? So Xavier, I'm going to go ahead since we started on you. So Xavier has assumed the leadership role of the troop. A troop is when we all together out of a unit. Like, so if 8919 had enough kids, they could have more than one patrol that all together make up a troop. So we have several patrols up here, several troops. So we interact because we kind of forced to do things so we can build a solid foundation. Kind of like when you buy an old cabinet, you put everything on the floor, you look at the directions so long, and then you just start screwing stuff together. Then you have to take it loose and root it. Then after a while, you get it. So we've made so many mistakes as a group. When we was out there one night, it was raining real hard, wasn't it, X? And we thought everybody had, this when we was new. They gave us some old stuff. We thought we had something. Boy, we was smiling. We were so happy. When we got to camp that night, it was raining, and none of our tents completed. It was terrible. We learned though, didn't we? We learned now because you have a quartermaster. A quartermaster is somebody who checks all of the equipment to make sure it's ready. We didn't know that then. Me and Mr. Biggs, we was just happy somebody gave us stuff. So we were like, yeah, like a little kid. But we didn't check that, so we got out there and started unzipping stuff, Kentrell. All of the pieces was missing. We used ropes, but a scout makes it work. So Xavier has been around for quite a while, and he's going to be hopefully our next Eagle Scout by next year this time.
Yeah.
He's a very great student as well in school. He has his head on right. He's a really good kid. So Xavier is a Star Scout. So you have Scout, then you have Tenderfoot, then you have second class, first class. After first class, it's left up to the scout to do things on their own. We have to try to motivate them, but the job is for them to move on. That's why I told you, you got to do it on your own. We could cheat, but my mother beat me so much when I was a kid about cheating. I ain't never cheated about nothing because I can see her slapping me upside the head. So we make sure that they earn. So Xavier is a Star Scout, and I like to take that patch out. So you have there's your Star Scout patches on your uniform. So Xavier has, in the last 2 years, He's achieved his rank of Star Scout. He's completed leather work, citizenship in the community, citizenship in the world, citizenship in the nation, camping, swimming, cooking, first aid, communications, STEM, University of Scouting, and NYLT, National Relief Units. Let's hit it, Xavier. Ready? Go. Pack and paddle. So they have two different groups when you go to NYLT. One of them is called land-based, which means you're obviously on the land. Pack and paddle means you pack it and you paddle it, baby. You pack that bag, you get in that water. So Xavier was one of the few that finished the pack and paddle. So it's with great honor I hand you.
Yeah. Woo!
Great job. Next we have Mr. Dancer, who's coming along at a snail's pace, but coming along is coming along. Making progress is making progress. That's all that's important. In Scouts, we never judge nobody like him or him. We judge each person based on their individual ability. So we can't judge Sultan. When we're around Sultan, I tell Sultan, you can't answer no questions. Because one other kid get a chance. Because as soon as you can't even get the question out, you be like, bye. So I just told Sultan, you can't answer nothing unless I call you personally. And that's how smart the kid is. He reads like people watch TV and eat. So Kevin has the same opportunity. He's a really bright young man. He likes to play a lot like most 12 and 13-year-olds do. He has his moments, but he's really overall, he's a good kid. And he has already finished his total chip last year, his firing chip, and Kevin has attained first class. Remember, once you're first class, you gotta earn the next badges to be the Star Scout. So hopefully with his brother, he will do that. So Kevin has completed citizenship in the community, in the world, citizenship in the nation, cooking, camping, first aid, totem chip, and firing chip. So Kevin, I congratulate you. I bow to you for staying as long as you do, man. And you see me about for nobody else. Because me and Kevin got beef, but we squashing. We squashing our beef, right, Kevin? Good young man, y'all, so I congratulate you. See, oh, there you go, okay. So, come on up, Jamondre. This is another young man who's came a long way. And he's got a long way to go. So, he has also achieved first class through, like I said, the 1 year in camp. That first time, that's all you do is go through to get to first class. So when you come back, your independent studies is, left up to you. Mr. Biggs has done a fantastic job with that young man and continues to do a fantastic job with him. Jamondre has completed his first class rank. He's completed game design, citizenship in the community, citizenship in the world, citizenship in the nation, STEM camping, cooking, first aid, as well as totem chip and firing chip. He's also been part of STEM camp is a whole week where you take all of these. Everybody knows what STEM is, right?
Yes.
What is it?
Science,
Nice and loud.
science, technology,
And
engineering, mathematics.
and mathematics.
Good job.
So scouting this council is leading the country in that program. So we are trying to make sure that we prepare these young men and sometimes young ladies for the 21st century. So STEM Cap is a week where they go through all of these classes and they're all related, and they have a minimum, 5, Mr. Biggs?
Yeah.
They had to take a minimum of 5 courses during that week. And Mr. Biggs stayed out there this time. It was a long week, but that's a tough man back there, y'all. He's always, so he's also completed the patch that a lot of times, every camp there's a special patch made for a camp. Some people have boards full of it and everything. These are, every scout shirt has a little place where you can display things or get them sewed on. But I want Jamondre to know, when you put these on and you put that on your shirt, you earn this.
Yeah.
Because you don't get anything in scouting, you earn things in scouting.
Yeah.
So my hat's off for your accomplishments, okay, Mr. Horsley? So, on behalf of everybody, thank you, Jamondre. This is his little brother. Come on over, Jason. Before you can become a scout, you're what they call a Weeblo. A Weeblo, I know the scout men know, but a Weeblo is short for We Be Loyal Scouts.
Okay.
So in Cub Scouts, you have a Lion Scout, you have a Tiger Scout, you have a Wolf Scout, you have a Bear Scout. So if a Cub Scout stays in 4 years, when they get to that next, they call the Weeblo, which means if you got all that 4 years behind you, when you get to a scout rank, you can just walk through it. So he's already, Mr. Biggs has already promoted him to be a scout. So he's got out the uniform, and he is our first next level scout.
Hey. Oh, look at that.
Award. We want to present you with this, Jason, because he has did his best at all times. He's a great representative of the young men to come, and I look forward, with Mr. Biggs' help, of working with this young man as he climbs the next level. So, Jason, since you're the future, okay. Now, last but not least, and I can't take no food home. Last, but these are other people, they're not here. But they say you say the best for last. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I don't want nobody to think that we're putting anybody. Did you want to take over? Don't ask nobody now. We always correct. That's what we do here. Because if you can learn how to deal with this, when you get grown, you can walk through this world without always wanting to pick up a pistol or want to hurt somebody because somebody hurt your feelings. Learn how not to get your feelings hurt by following what, kids? Rules. Now, so, as I said, this young man, I don't know why he got his uniform. He's just cool. You know how you get 17, y'all? Everybody here know what it's like to get 17. And a senior in high school, and a job, and a debit card, and an iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, y'all know how it is when you get 17, right or wrong. But me and this young man here been through it. We done been through it. We done been through it up and down. And Mr. Biggs capped it off when he took him to Northern Tier with him, up there in Canada, and all of those lakes. He said, swam in how many lakes, Mr. Biggs? 10. Swam in 10 lakes, up in Minnesota and Canada, all up on the other side. And I always have a story with most of them. I ain't gonna tell our story. Definitely ain't gonna tell our story. But we all got our little story. So one day it was cold. This one, Devin was a little bitty kid, smaller than him. And it was cold that day. It was really cold that day. And he said, Miss Roosevelt, I'm cold, I wanna go home. I said, I don't care, but I ain't taking you, call your mama. He called Tasha. She said, well, just gonna have to deal with the cold because I ain't coming to get you. Click. End of the phone call. He's like, man. I was like, man, nothing. Let's get back to work, right or wrong. And it was cold and we was on the truck. So we've got a lot of personal stories to tell. One night somebody ran into my truck, right, Devin? We was up all night. They just ran into my truck, didn't tell us nothing. Me and Devin like, but she was the only female at camp. And we said we wouldn't press charges, right? I said, hey, girl, you got enough. Just forget about it. Yeah, she just ran to my truck and just forgot all about it. I'm like, man, paint all on it. I'm like, just go find the car that color. Right. I mean, it was one of those things, though. So Devin and I have been through a lot. Every time he was cold, I was cold. Every time he got wet, I got wet. Every time he walked in the mud, I walked in the mud. Because we owe Mr. Biggs, and we got to give him a standing applause before we leave. Because that man has stuck it out at his age through thick and thin. You see her something at 5 o'clock in the morning, is him getting up to check on them boys. Because the raccoons, some of them scared of raccoons. You got raccoons out there that'd be like, what's up in there? You got any, what's that I smell? So some kids, when they first hear something like Buddy Lee here, they get tough. So Devin has done so much, I didn't have to write on both sides of his envelope. So Devin has 7 years of camping. He's the Order of an Arrow, which is this right here. You get selected, Mr. Oh, I'm sorry, our other MC came in a little late. Dr. Stone, he's our advancement chair. He's the one who oversees our advancements, makes sure that they are advancing, reminds us to have merit badges, checks to make sure because we have to enter all of this stuff. So when he get ready to get his Eagle Scout and they get ready to go up, they have all of this. So a lot of this behind the scenes work has to happen at the same time. So that's Dr. Stone, he does that. So he's, you see the little line over it, over his arrow. So you have arrowmen, you have brotherhood, and you have vision. Every branch of the OA you have to be recommended to even get in. You just can't, I want to be this. Scouting don't too much, you have to earn in this program. So Devin is Order of the Arrow. He's also been the Northern Tier, which they call a high adventure. Scouts have 3-4 high adventures. They got the Summit, which is West Virginia. They got Field Mountain, which is in New Mexico. They got Sea Base, which is in Florida.
Wow.
And then they got Northern Tier, which is up in Minnesota and Canada. They call those high adventures because you need to really be on your game if you're going to do that. So Devin was really on his game when he went to Northern Tier. He's had several STEM camps. I mean, all of those badges that come with that. Then he's attended University of Scouting, which is a whole day of a university turned into scouting, where you just go through all of these different things. He's also been a patrol leader, which leads the patrol. He's also been a senior patrol leader, which leads all of us when we go to a camp. He's also served as our junior assistant scoutmaster. So when we go somewhere, he was probably his size one day we got on the bus. And everybody was big. What I tell him, Devin? I said, he's in charge. Don't let his size fool you. I said, but he's in charge. What he says goes, whether you like it or not. That's how scouting is called the patrol method. Scouts teach scouts. We teach them, they teach each other, and hopefully the cycle goes on. So I'm going to read, and you need 21, 22 merit badges to be an Eagle Scout. So I'm going to read Devin's accomplishments. He still got some more. Archery, canoeing, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world, citizenship in the community, climbing, cooking, first aid, game design, life-saving, rowing, swimming, camping, canoeing, exploration, fishing, leatherwork, rifle shooting, sustainability, welding. And it's 3 more that I ain't there because I got to go find them. But Devin has really been busy just by time of spending with us. That's why he's qualifying. And I'd like to present you with our first Life Scout badge.
Wow. Yeah.
Our first Life Scout. And when you attain Life Scout, Chuck, you can bear witness, you get a letter from the council that congratulates you on your, because you only got one more step. You only got like 3 or 2, and we working on those simultaneously. I've been trying to get this young man there. They help me out, but he be all up in Alaska and stuff, camping and stuff. He want to move to Alaska. So, Mr. Biggs, would you please? Then I'm gonna get out. Come on. They've been promoting this boy all around the city, ain't they, Mr. Biggs? This boy been speaking at all type of stuff. Dinners, Silver Beaver dinners, Distinguished Gentleman dinners, race car dinners. When they want somebody to speak, what do? They call and say, could you get Xavier to come speak for us? It used to be him. Now we got him. So when they go up, they have hundreds of people out in front of the audience. And they have to come up and stand in front of all of these people and present. So Xavier has done a fantastic job, Xavier. Let's hear that one speech you give, man. Go on there, man. Don't be bashful. Tell them how old you are. He's just 14. Just getting the east side. So we got one getting in high school, one getting out of high school. Go ahead and give that speech, man. Go ahead and give him a minute.
Thank everybody for coming out, and I'd like to thank all my fellow scouts for being with me and us being all together throughout everybody journey. Yeah, I'm almost out of here. I had good memories with everybody here, and I just hope all of us can get to Eagle Scout, all of us keep exceeding in Scout.
That's it.
We on time, y'all. It's 6:52. So we started Chuck almost on time, so we're gonna be out of here on time. The pastor was supposed to come and give us some words of encouragement. Everybody heard Pastor Gray to speak before, right?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Please do. Any prayer.
You've done a
into making these kids successful. Because if it wasn't for you two, they wouldn't be here today.
That's
So,
right.
great job.
Thank you. Commissioners, anybody? Parent? Daughters?
Good evening, parents, friends, and family. We are here to honor, and honor means to us to recognize the achievements of all these young men. Pretty soon, these young men will become leaders like Colton Howell, Gila Buford, Hank Aaron, all with Eagle Scouts. All started out young men like this, and before you know it, they were leaders. Okay? My apologies. All my meetings are scheduled for 7 o'clock, and I put in my calendar 7 o'clock. All my afternoon meetings at that time. So he probably did, and I didn't put it down as 6. I put it down as 7. Now, what I usually do is I have a pin for each rank, and these pins are given out to the mothers of each scout. And since you are my life scout, here is your pin for your mother. Now, I need to know who are my star scouts. Right there. Okay, turn around. Don't go anywhere. I gotta find my little pin.
Everybody else is first class.
Okay. Star achievement. And you gentlemen have come a long way. And you, I expect to see you next year as my Eagle Scout. And I will be there at 6 o'clock. Gentlemen, good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah, good job.
Gotta do more people.
We blow, you'll soon be a first-class scout.
I know I sent you some emails. Everybody know who get emails. I send emails. Okay, you probably see scouts on TVs and stuff with that. And each one of them has an envelope with those badges listed. Somebody mama just bought a sewing machine. Who said their mama just bought a sewing machine?
Oh, no, my son bought a
Oh, so me, I use glue. I use stitch glue. But that's the cheap way out of it. Those badges supposed to be all on here. So when they go, that they can display what they've earned. So if you get the badges, I will personally buy each one a sage that you decide that you're going to get. But in order to make sure that's done, I want to see the patches before I get the sage. But they usually have no empty sage. Okay? So everybody has enough patches, merit badges is what they're called, that they can put on their sage. And it would be really nice when we show up somewhere and Chuck is like Jason Williams. They call him vanilla chocolate. That's vanilla chocolate. You know? And so what we do is we keep it real. Black Scouts are almost a thing of the past from Dr. Stone's days and Mr. Biggs' days. And we have to bring something back to our black men and women. I don't know what it is. I'm glad I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black men to help me figure it out. But mothers, we need you all to support what we're doing. Mr. Cantrell, could you please stand? He's an Air Force re-enlistment, but hopefully we'll be passing this on to him in the next couple of years. So that's how, because we got to have a transition period. We can't stay here forever. If we don't think about the future, we're doomed. So we need some young men that's going to step up like Mr. Cantrell and go out there and spend some time. So if you can, try to encourage him. If you see him, hey man, what you been doing? And I know we all got families and things, but if we want a bright future, we better look at them. If we want a future, it better be there. You don't need to be out here. That's the future. So I join everybody in the
The last 7 years of scouting have been amazing and hard. I remember when I first got to camp, my money got stolen. And I couldn't get the pocket knife and stuff I wanted. And I ain't know nothing, to be honest, because All I heard was I had to go to camp. My mama told me. I was like, what camp? Boy Scout camp. I was like, what is that? What is a Boy Scout? And when I heard about Boy Scout, I'm thinking it's like Girl Scouts. I'm like, is they gonna make us sell cookies at camp? And so when I had to board the bus to go, and we got off, it was something I didn't see. I seen a lake, I seen an iceberg, I seen a trading post, I seen trails. It was something I'd never seen before. And when I started camping and wanted to do swimming, I took my swimming test, I failed. It took me 3 years to finally do my swimming test and pass it. And once I finally figured out how to pass my swimming test, I took my mile swim and I got my certification for doing a 1 mile swim.
Wow.
And camping, it helped me a lot because I did hunting hay rods. I met a lot of people. Northern Town, I met a lot of people there too that I actually talk to still to this day. I went to dinners, I met people there, and it gives you connections and a way of life, and it's very helpful because, like they said, I wouldn't